Yeah.
Trashy and Wave says technically they all picked based on color though. Yeah, I
Well,
think it was intentional.
it's intentional.
This is the Vogue cover.
The British Vogue cover. Yeah, I want to buy that. I'm gonna have to go somewhere that has that.
Yeah.
I like it. Finally,
I I like it. I thought it was it's very
long
interesting.
overdue.
Long overdue. And I tell my kid, I talk to my daughters all the time about how they're growing up with melanin being celebrated and all of that versus when we grew up. It just was not there. I didn't get picked on, but I know people that did get picked on for that. And so to see this be celebrated on Vogue is like, wow. Okay, so what y'all got to say?
That's I said, woo woo. I mean, hey, it's about time, that the darker skin complected, even darker than mine. And I experienced colorism in high school, like with the boys, that they wanted the hot yellow girls. That's what
Right.
they were called. But yeah, I mean, I think this is awesome. I think it's great. I've never seen so many different shades
I was just
of
going to say, like,
beautiful black
wow.
women.
Hmm.
Is that Lupita or is that her name? Lupita on the
No,
right.
no, no. They're all models.
They're all models.
They're
Yeah.
all models. Which is
Yeah.
what
Wow.
I love. They're not celebrities. They're not actresses. They are models in their craft. And this is only thing that pisses me off is this is long overdue, and that is
Yep.
because British Vogue, their creative director Edwin, he's
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
black man, so I know he had
Oh,
a lot to do with this, making this happen.
okay.
But it should not take decades.
Yeah.
But
We always got to put the first in front of a lot of stuff, right? The
That's
first
true.
to do this, the first to do that. It's always
I'm
the first
going
one.
to
You already know.
pull up Edwin.
But the one that was sitting down on, oh, I'm facing my computer, so it's on my left. She's the one that I recognize the most.
Okay,
Hmm.
so this is Edwin.
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh
yeah,
Dana, yeah.
what is he's editor in chief?
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay,
Editor. Mm-hmm.
That's what's
right.
up.
That's
So
Wow.
amazing.
I want that magazine. Can we order it online?
I think so, yeah,
I
because
would
I
love
do
to have
know,
that.
like, if you go to like your train station or so, I know, like in New York, Penn Station, they have like all the magazines from all over the world, basically. But
Nice.
I'm not going to
I'm
New
gonna
York to
look
get it.
on Amazon right quick and see
Yeah,
if I
or
can
just go to
have one.
Vogue, go to Vogue.com, and you could probably order that one for that particular magazine and have it delivered to you.
Yeah.
Trashy and Wave says technically they all picked based on color though. Yeah, I
Well,
think it was intentional.
it's intentional. It's a message. They're trying to send a
Yeah.
message, right? And I think that this is the best way to do it. To Dana's point, like they're not celebrities. They're models. They're people that you like. You look at the cover and you're like, I want to know who these people are. Who are these women, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think it's definitely a statement, and it was on purpose. So I'm
Yeah.
feeling it. I'm even more excited that it's the February edition because
Yeah.
it's my birthday month. Number one, I'm so
And it
selfish, but
starts Black History Month,
Black
so yeah.
History
Yeah,
Month.
but
Yeah.
that's what I thought too. But then it's like, but that's British Vogue, and in Britain, their Black History is the month of October. But
Mm.
I mean, maybe they're doing it so that Americans could
Wow.
buy it as well. So it's a
Yeah.
good marketing strategy.
It is,
But
and it gets the conversation started because it is in it's
right,
British. Like it's sending a message like we're doing it here. What are y'all doing? Right? Like I know
Exactly.
it's not a competition, but
right.
it really like ups the ante a little bit.
Yeah. Trash
Yeah.
Cans Wave says so sometimes colorism is acceptable. Well, I want to know if you guys can think of when colorism is acceptable.
It,
Well, as someone that experienced it and still experience it, because I still experience it when I do auditions, and I know
Right.
specifically, it's never accepted in my humble opinion. Now, if we can have Hollywood actors that are lighter skinned that portray darker skinned actresses that or artists, and then they still have to put darker makeup on them, that's a
Right.
problem. Why are
Right.
we doing that?
Right.
So no, it's never accepted. It's
mm-mm.
And
never
it's
acceptable.
hurtful. It's so hurtful. when I think back to our childhood, like you said, and the things that people say, and they still say it, like people are still having conversations about not letting light-skinned girls in the club or not letting them in your videos or whatever. Like still 2022.
Yeah, look at the statements that some rappers make about only wanting liking some particular skin girls. And just recently, when they had the Compton movie, look at how much trouble they got into because they specifically gave the more popular leading roles to the lighter skinned girls, and the darker skinned girls were the ones that were like the thoughts and the strippers and the drug
Right.
addicts
What Compton movie?
and the straight out of Compton. Yeah, it was a big
Mm.
it was a big article about how
Really?
yes, it was all
Let me see if
it
I
was
can
all over
find it.
social media how they was yeah they were exercising really bad colorism on the set of that. Yeah, the lighter you were the one in the up in front, and then they wanted the kind of caramel color one, and all the darker ones, yeah, were like
Oh
yeah,
wow.
the lesser than roles.
I see it. Hold on 1 second. Let's check this out.
It was a big thing about that.
Yeah, I see.
But it's funny because I know I get what you're saying, and then too when you talk about those videos, like the video girls, a lot of times those directors or artists, you know, like what is that chick, Erica Mena? A lot of those chicks put out to be in front of the camera,
Yep.
and that's not talked about because Melissa Ford always talks about that. Like she was about her
Yes.
business. She was not considered light skinned. And
Yep.
and Melissa Ford is from, I would say, our era. Well, I don't know how everybody is, but how old everybody are. But when I look at the first black women of anything, they were all dark skin or dark brown. You look at Naomi Campbell, whether Diane Carroll, she's brown skin.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
look, so when you look at on television, particularly with black women, the first of anything, they were more of a darker hue. And just one more thing I want to add, black people is not monolithic, especially when it comes to our shades of hue. It's
Mhm.
it's different colors of blackness.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right, Dana, but it wasn't at first because even before them, they still handpicked the lighter skinned women. They handpicked the
Well,
Lena
and then who
Horne.
was
They
it?
handpicked the Dorothy Dandreds. They
Mm.
handpicked those women specifically and didn't go with the darker women until a woman named Cicely Tyson broke that barrier.
Mm.
Yeah, but then too, just talking about the models, the first black woman to grace the cover of Vogue,
Beverly Johnson.
yes, she's not light skinned.
No.
Now you did have a Veronica Webb. She had her first cosmetic line, the first model to have it, first black woman to have it, or whatever. But then you look at it, Iman,
Yeah.
so again, I grew up seeing darker women, brown skin and darker women making strides to be the first. And then two, also a lot of that colorism starts in the home.
True.
Well, you
And
already know, girl. Yeah, girl, with your dark skin self, with your nappy head,
Yep.
all
No,
of that.
you're right. Even
Get out that sun before you get dark.
well, even my grandmother, like I vividly remember my older cousin dating a I think he was like African, he had African descent. And
Mm-hmm.
she would say he sure is dark. Like it was always a jab at complexion, at
Yeah.
how dark you are. And bless her heart, she's no longer here, but like I would only imagine like what she would say if I talk to someone that's darker than me. It's just, really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
my mom came up in the era of the brown paper bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you were, your skin was darker than the brown, and my mom was like caramel color, like a medium complexion. My father was dark skinned, so that's where I got my darker melanin tone
Mm-hmm.
from. But yeah, I used to always don't play out there too long in that sun, the stuff like that. Like yeah, and then through school the same thing. It was a whole fad in the 80s and 90s with the light skinned girls, until, like I say, then you have the darker. It takes somebody to break that barrier, right? Like your Tyra Banks, like your Naomi Campbell's. It takes somebody like them, Imans. It takes them to break that barrier. The first Black to ever grace the cover, the first, and they're of a darker hue. So absolutely.
You want to get Trash Can Waves this comment, Lauren?
What I'm hearing is picking based on color is only acceptable when you're that color. No.
No.
What?
No.
Really? Like,
no.
what we doing here?
We're trying to problematize something that doesn't need to be problematized. We said colorism is not good regardless. In this case, with the Vogue situation, I don't see this as colorism. I see this as making a statement. There's two completely different things. Colorism is when you prefer something over the other. Vogue has for years proven that darker skin tone doesn't belong on the cover.
Right.
And so now that we're breaking the trend, we're literally saying colorism is no longer a thing, or at least in the British Vogue world, right? So I think that's the difference.
Yes.
Right. I mean, the lightest one up there is the one standing up in the middle.
Right.
So
Right.
she's the lightest one, and I mean, I think it's beautiful. I gotta get that magazine. I'm just
and
saying,
they weren't picked because they thought Vogue thought that they were better than other hues. That's not why they were picked. They were picked for a message and for a purpose that definitely needs to be had. So absolutely.
Actually, and I am going to get this magazine because I want to read the article, if they wrote an article on, what was the inspiration behind this.
Yes.
And also, guys, because I like Valentino, the House of Valentino. They did a fashion show probably 2 years ago, and the inspiration, the concept of that fashion show was high society Black people in France. So the whole cast were Black, and Naomi Campbell was like the headline. And it was a name, I forgot what you call high society, but you would never. But it was part of history to where people don't know there were a lot of high society, wealthy Black people in Victorian times, right?
Right.
So he did a whole fashion show, paying homage to that, and all the models were Black, and I'm pretty sure these particular models were in that fashion show too. And another thing I want to say about colorism is people don't and I think girls growing up, young girls especially, they don't understand that when they get picked on because of their skin, especially by whether it's a white person or whatever, that's really envy. A lot of people are very envious, especially if you have dark. Usually, people with dark skin, their skin is smooth and perfect. It's very envious, which is why they're picked on.
Yeah. Yeah, envious and not the standard for.
I would agree with that.
Not the standard for American beauty or whatever, or society's beauty or whatever.
Right, because remember that saying, "The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice."
Exactly.
So I used to hear that a lot when I was a kid, and my cousin, she was dark skinned like these women up here. And I was and I used to be pissed off because I was like, that's why you Black. Because I knew that. And I knew that because I wasn't raised that way. But that's because she pissed me off because she had a saying for her color.
Yes.
And I didn't.
Girl, because like I said, the really light-skinned girls that, when we would go at it with each other, because that's what the first thing they come at is call us Black, you Black this, or you dark this. And we would go high yellow. That was their name. I mean, high yellow this, you high yellow that.
But she was like, if you say Black, she was like, well, the blacker the baby, the blacker the berry, sweeter the juice.
Yeah.
And I couldn't come back with nothing.
Come back with anything.
Because I'm like, damn, light skinned people don't have nothing.
Don't have that come back.
Exactly. We got some interesting comments. Snuggle says, do you think the picture you all have of Vogue with these beautiful people on the picture will be receptive to people who look like them, or will they make fun of them?
Okay, so
good question.
And see, this is what gets me with Snuggle. Why you couldn't say beautiful black people, because that's what they are. That's why I think Snuggles is an agent. I think you are a white agent. I really do, in sheep's clothing, Snuggles. I just want you to know that. I think
Oh
you
my
are.
God.
Anyone that makes fun of them, they're just out of sheer ignorance. I don't care what color they are or whatever. One thing I do know, even under the influence of wine, is that we black people typically set the standard for dress, hair, everything.
Mhm.
Like even now, I look at the lips that I was once picked about, or the butt, or the this or the that. People are trying to achieve that. Like
Mhm.
it's nothing more hilarious to me because I'm like, okay, so you think that's the stereotypical black woman, but you're emulating that, and yeah, no, that's a stereotype, or that's just my body, or whatever.
Ain't that something?
Yeah,
When
so I think
we
people that
got
make fun
teased
of
for our
them,
full lips,
yeah,
we got teased for our full hips and butt, we got teased for the tones in our skin, and now that's all our white counterparts want to be, is have that. Isn't that
Snuggles is not
amazing?
Asian. Look at this question: when calling someone high yellow, is that an insult? Um,
Absolutely. It is. Just like when they called us blacks, whatever, B.
yeah.
It is an insult, of
I ain't
course.
gonna lie. Like I have a child that is very light skinned, and I sometimes in jest, I'll say something like that. But I have become mindful of it. She's not offended by it because I've asked her. She's in her 20s now. Because I always talk about. I mean, her skin is light skin, but also her feet. Like I'm like, good lord, with these old high yellow feet. Like what the heck? Why are you so pale? But it can be absolutely. It
Well, I
absolutely.
used it as an insult because I was being insulted. So that was my
Yeah,
defense
yeah, yeah. That
you
was
know what
your
I
back.
mean? Your defense mechanism when you being called a blacks, whatever, B, and they were light skinned. That was my defense back. So I agree.
Yeah. Trash Hand Wave says, I'm a colorist. I prefer dark skinned women, or is this my preference? It's your preference.
I think it's a
It's a preference.
preference.
It's a
Yeah.
It's
preference.
your preference.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
your preference because you say dark skin is better than light skin? Then that's being a
That's the
colorist.
colorist.
And that's when it's
Exactly.
colorist. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Because
Hmm.
when I was growing up, I was into the light skinned guys, and then I had a cousin was like, that's when Keith Sweat first came out, and I was like, he too dark, girl. And they was all in love. I was like, I could not get into Keith Sweat. She was like, when you get older, because I probably was like 11 or 12 or something, but she was like, when you get older, that's
Huh.
all you gonna date is dark skin. She damn sure was right.
Yeah,
But
because we
love
was all about Al B. Sure back then. It was Al B.
Mhm.
Sure. Listen,
right.
and the rest of them.
It was who I was attracted to, whether they were light skin, medium, or dark. I've had them all, and it never been a thing with color. It was about who I was attracted to and what
It
was attractive to me, what was handsome to me in a man. So,
growing
yeah.
up in Miami, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. My husband, he's from Detroit, and he just could not comprehend this because my cousin and I, we were talking about growing up in Miami and just how calling someone a Haitian was an absolute insult. And
Hmm.
being dark was an absolute insult. Like when I was growing up, people that I knew was Haitian, Jean Pierre last name, Pierre last name, whatever, they would have to hide it. Well, I mean, I'm in Miami. You have the boat lift and all this stuff. People coming in on boats, and the wine is kicking in. So I don't even know what my point is, but um,
I love it.
but
That's
but
that's what
I
happens
do
when the wine
remember
kicks in.
growing up, and yes, it was about color. You did not, you picked on the darker people, and the light people were white girls, boys. It didn't matter, and just for skin tone, and you were automatically associated with quote being Haitian, and that was an
Mhm.
insult. Nowadays, it's completely different. Like I love it nowadays. I absolutely love it.
It's
Um,
funny that you said that because my son father, he's Jamaican. He
mhm.
was born and raised in America, but his parents were from Jamaica, so he's Jamaican. But so when we get into arguments, I just be like, "You damn!" I said, "You black Haitian," because he dark. He's
Yep.
like, so like he was like, "Why do you think that hurt my feelings?" Because I used to think Jamaicans and Haitians had beef.
Yep.
Mhm.
I would go with Haitian. He was like,
Yep.
Wait, did
"No."
they used to have beefs?
I don't know.
It was more so it's almost like the Dominican and Cubans or Dominicans and Puerto Rican. Like
Right.
don't mix us up. Like understand I'm Jamaican. Understand I'm American. Understand I'm
Haitian.
yeah,
Yeah.
they do be specific if you, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but
Really
he looked at me like, so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. FR says colorism is associated with stereotypes, does not honor individuality. Absolutely. The dark skin model that's so dark, she purple has my full heart. Okay.
Okay.
I think that's her, the one that I said I knew I recognized. She is the one that is on, like, sitting the lowest in the front.
Right
On,
down at the bottom on
yeah,
the
on my left. So I don't know what
it's the
side she.
left.
Yeah,
The two down at the bottom are just like, wow.
yeah.
Just and I believe, you know, in America, we do know that there are some people that are this dark, but if we go to Africa, I think we'll be, oh man, I think we'll be so shocked about just the beauty of the culture, but then just what we come from. Like
I
honestly.
think most of these models up here are from Africa.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe one or two American, but they all, I think they all have American accents. I don't know, but yeah, they're definitely, majority of them is from Africa. That's why we have to get the magazine, because I know they're gonna like have their
Go into
names.
it.
I'm looking online right now, and I'm even on Vogue's website, and and only the American one is coming up. I don't see
Go to
where.
British Vogue.
Yeah, British Vogue.
Yeah, I put it in BritishVogue.com or something, and nothing's coming up, but just the main website. I don't know. I keep looking as we talking, but yeah, I'm
Okay.
on there now.